Hello, today we're going to be doing some more examples of deriving. The functions that I have on the board are a little bit harder than your normal functions, so it's going to take a little bit more work and a little bit more knowledge on how to do it. Let's look at the first one. You're taking the derivative of x divided by x plus 3. This is a quotient, so we're going to use the quotient rule. Okay, the quotient rule is f prime g minus f g prime divided by g squared. That is the quotient rule. So we're going to set the top to equal f and the bottom to equal g. So we're going to go ahead and do that. F prime, x prime is just 1 times g, which is just going to be x plus 3, minus f, which is just x. G prime of x is just 1, so 1 plus 0, because the constant's going to go to 0, that's just 1. So plus 1. Alright, and don't forget, g squared, that's our g, so we're going to have x plus 3 squared on the bottom. Okay, we're going to go ahead and distribute the 1 in there. After we've done this, multiplied by 1, we get x plus 3 minus x divided by x plus 3 squared. These x's cancel, and then we're just left with 3x plus 3 squared. And that's your answer. That's the first example. Now we're going to do another one. This looks very scary because it's not just a normal number, it's e to the x. But remember, in my other videos I had stated the derivative of e to the x will always be e to the x. Now note, we do have a product rule because it's x times e to the x. Product rule. Which, remember, product rule states f prime times g plus f g prime. That is the product rule. We're going to note that our f is x and our g is e to the x. F prime, x prime is just 1 times g, which is just going to be e to the x. Remember, this is multiplied. Plus your f, which is just going to be x, times your derivative, e to the x. Remember, e to the x is just e to the x, so that's left you with that. So, your final answer is going to be e to the x plus x e to the x. And that's your first derivative. Okay, then we're going to come over here. This one's even nastier. Now we're going into cube roots, and then we're going into cube roots within square roots. A little bit more difficult. So we're going to take the first derivative. This is a sum, so that's just going to be 3x squared. Because remember, you're going to pull the exponent down, then subtract it by 1. That'll give you that. What we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and imagine this as x 1/3. That's an easier way of thinking it. Then we're going to subtract it by 1 and bring that down. So we're actually going to have 1/3 x minus 2/3. And you can rewrite this as 3x squared plus 3 divided by 2 square root of x. And that is your derivative. There are a lot of nasty functions that you can take derivatives of. However, these three are the most commonly hard ones for students. I know it was for me. You study these and know how to do them, you will always be able to find the derivative. Remember, in order to do all the derivatives, you must use the rules. If you haven't watched my other videos, you're not going to know how to do those advanced problems we were doing earlier. So remember, your product rule was f prime g plus f g prime. Okay, that's your product rule. Remember your quotient rule. Remember, it was f prime g minus f g prime divided by g squared. That's your quotient rule. Remember, every time you take the derivative of a constant, it's always going to be 0. Every time you take a number, the derivative of a number, it's always going to equal 0. That's your constant rule. And there are another few rules involving taking the derivative of a function. So go watch my other videos, and I will see you later.